Ben Shapiro tells struggling New Yorkers, just leave it if you can't afford it. But before we can even get into the video, all I can see is a bunch of advertising on their page. Like, I do not want to buy a t-shirt. I don't want to buy a t-shirt. I just want to watch this. Now let's get
very country that we keep shipping our resources to. Here's what they're dealing with right now, by the way. Let's talk a little bit about the human experience here in the United States of America with the economic situation we've been dealt, a situation in which our Federal Reserve printed so much money that it has caused quite a bit of inflation. And as inflation continues to riddle the US economy, we're also losing a lot of jobs because of these wonderful technological advancements that Ben Shapiro loves so much. So we are barreling toward a stagflation economic environment. And well, people are feeling it. So why don't we go to CNBC, hardly a lefty outlet, but even they had the ability to document for the American public what the reality is.
Millennial
in this economic environment.
Millennials' net worth quadrupled from $3.9 trillion to nearly $16 trillion between 2019 and 2024, but more than half report living paycheck to paycheck.
We're actually projecting that about 1 in 4 young adults today will never have kids.
In the early 1980s, as many as 40% of the new homes built were considered entry-level. By 2023, just 9% fit the criteria. The premium paid to buy a home has increased sharply relative to renting over the past decade. The increases in home prices have also outpaced increases in wages. As a result, home sales are down across many markets, and the median age of the typical first-time home buyer has climbed to 38. That's up from age 29 in 1981. The average price of homes has...
Sorry, you guys, I'm like freaking out. I do not want a tranquilizing drug, a graduate shirt. Can we get that? Can you please move that? That's like annoying as hell. Girl, I do not want to see this.
Increased rapidly too. Nationwide, home prices have climbed over 52% between January 2020 and October 2024.
Home prices going up 114% is insane, and makes it clear that there is something awry, going wrong in our economic landscape. Rather than maybe focus on that, I guess this is why I'm so offended by what Ben Shapiro was saying. It's that he seems to direct his ire at ordinary people as if it's their fault. You know, that's the part that really gets to me. As if Americans are just, again, lazy bums who feel entitled to just being given things. But that's not what we're talking about here. Most Americans are hardworking people. They find purpose in going out there, contributing to society, working. But if you're working a full-time job, if you're working more than full-time, you're working 16-hour days, you're hustling with this intention.
Gosh, can we just say it? It's because the minimum wage isn't shit. It's not shit. So it's like everybody keeps having this question, oh, go out there, work hard. Most of us cannot afford it even after we have worked hard. Most people who make a minimum wage, they're not even living. The people who even have the really good careers, you guys are losing your careers. You're losing them. You're losing them to AI. You're losing them because you're the first person they lay off because you made the most money in your company. That's what's happening. I know people who are top hitters in their companies and who have been let go over the past 4 years. They've just been let go. Those jobs are no longer there. They are no longer there. So when we're sitting here talking about, oh, just go out there and survive, the cost of living is so damn high. You would have to be working 14 jobs. Let's be honest. You remember how much it cost to rent a house 10, 15 years ago. Oh, well, things cost more money now. Yeah, they do. But when the cost of living is 3 times the amount of your normal wages, where I live, they want you to spend about $3,000 a month to rent. This is not mortgage. $3,000 a month to rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Mortgages are through the roof now too because they're not as easy as they were. And now that we're talking about doing these 50-year mortgages where we can just have everybody come in and sign their entire life away, because there's no way they would ever pay that bill off with the amount of interest that's going to be on there. But you know, hey, that sounds like a great idea. You bring the people in and you tell them you don't even need a credit score because that is what? Come on. People don't make enough money to live. The cost of food is high. Where I'm at, I don't even realize the cost of food is so high because I've just been so used to it. We're just so used to how much we pay. That's what it's like. You get more rural where I'm at, it's even more. $18 for milk. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just talk about it. The jobs that pay the money, the cost of living in the homes, it's just all out of whack. It's all out of whack.
Of moving forward in life, moving forward economically, getting up that economic ladder. And it's just impossible to do it because the cost of just the fundamentals, housing, food, having children, getting married, when that kind of stuff becomes too expensive for you to afford and you're working your ass off, yeah, that leads to a certain level of rage. And I think it's been tearing this country apart.
And then there is a disconnect between the parents telling their kids, well, why don't you just pull yourself up by the bootstraps? Why aren't you able to go and get a house like I did? Well, Mom and Dad, the cost of your house was significantly cheaper back then, right? Come on. You guys were able to get in and get the land. You were able to get it dirt cheap. We can't even find land if we can. Even if we can find it, it's not there anymore. And the price of these little tiny side-by-side homes that they want you to live in is just astronomical. It's astronomical.
Just recently, but it's been going on for a few decades now. And by the way, that last video mostly had to do with housing prices, but there is more, right? So
let's get into it. What's he saying?
If I'm not mistaken. So gross. Galfar71 says U.S. interference in the Middle East has been going on ever since 1940. Is pretty overwhelming for seniors who have homeowner with a 50-year mortgage who sells after 10 years would walk away with about $38,000 less in equity than if the owner had used a 30-year loan, assuming the same rate for both, the 6.22%. And according to the Wall Street Journal, the Trump administration, Trump in particular, is now very furious with the guy who tried to sell us all on the idea. His name is Bill Pulte. He is the Federal Housing Finance Agency director. And here's what would happen if, like anyone with a working brain, were approached by Pulte with this proposal. I would laugh in his face. I'm not president.
These are predatory
I'm not a
loans.
Okay,
come on, man. How are we gonna say that? These are predatory loans. Come on in here. You can get this $450,000 home, and you don't even need your credit score. Come on, we know what's going on here. You cannot try to woo us with this bullshit. You just can't. Come on.
I think I have average intelligence, if that. So if anyone came to me and I had any position of power and they were trying to get me to promote the idea of a 50-year mortgage, I'd be like, oh, no, we're not doing that. That's embarrassing. But Trump apparently has difficulty with agency. You know, he has difficulty fulfilling the role that he was elected for, which is the role of a leader, the president of the United States. He needs people to tell him what to think and what to say. And if the public doesn't like it, well then, it's not his fault. The buck doesn't stop with him. I guess the buck stops with Bill Pulte. On Saturday evening, Bill Pulte arrived at President Donald Trump's Palm Beach Golf Club with a roughly 2x5 poster board in hand. The graphic of former President Franklin Roosevelt appeared below 30-year mortgage and one of Trump below 50-year mortgage. The headline was Great American Presidents. That's all it takes, folks. Hand Trump a proposal that includes the line, Great American President.
For
and he'll
real.
do it. He won't think about it. He won't analyze it. He won't consider the fallout or the backlash. All you have to do is compliment him enough or make him think that doing this will be good for his legacy, and he'll do it. And he didn't do it. I mean, he proposed it, of course, and then he got the backlash, and now he's mad about that. Roughly 10 minutes later, Trump posted the image to Truth Social, which we shared with you on yesterday's show. And now reportedly the administration started getting backlash to the idea as soon as the Trump post went live on Truth Social. An anonymous source familiar with the situation told Politico, the thing that became clear from this latest episode, if it wasn't already clear, is that Bill Pulte doesn't know the first effing thing about how the mortgage markets operate. After publicly humiliating the president, who, if you ask me, publicly humiliated himself by not thinking for himself, with his moronic 50-year mortgage plan, it's safe to assume that his days are numbered.
His days are numbered.
Look, don't get me wrong, Pulte is an idiot and should not be employed in the role that he is employed in for the Trump administration.
He gave the wrong information. He told him it was going to be, get out of here, man, get out of here.
Full stop. But at what point does the American public expect the president of the United States to take responsibility for his actions?
He's
if
never
one of my producers makes a mistake in the production of a story,
that's not his thing.
I'm not going to come on this show and attack them.
Please, now I'm gonna need her to stop. I almost went to his eye view. Let me go. I'm gonna need her to know right now. He is not going to do that. That is not what he does, okay? He will never do that.
As if I'm not the executive producer, I have a leadership role. And that leadership role means the buck stops with me. So that mistake is my mistake. It's no one else's mistake. It's my mistake.
Says a regular, normal person.
And in this case, we're talking about the president of the United States.
Thank you, girl. Thank you. He will not do that.
Blaming others for his
that's his
inability
MO,
to think
because
for
he
himself.
always blames every other person. It is sleepy Joe Biden. It is the previous administration. It is that senator over there. It is that governor over there. If you don't get me those votes, if you don't, come on, man. I think we voted you into that seat. Take accountability, baby. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do it.
It's seriously wild. Anyway, great American president, am I right? When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about Bernie Sanders just tearing the Democratic Party apart.
Ooh!
Quite a sight to see. We'll be right back.
Ooh, and on that note, we are going to pause and we are going to come back to that because there's nothing better than Bernie tearing into that ass. Peace out.